our third child, so he was put into his little bassinet, and he slept for many hours, because I had two other young children. And when he started to walk, he was a really early walker, and he started to walk at around 9 months old. Mm-hmm. And we noticed was falling down a lot. And so that's when I first kind of went, I wonder what's going on here. And then I went back to work really early when Wyatt was about 8 months old. And I noticed the first time when I came in and I saw the flapping of his arms. And then that mama's heart I went, oh. And then I kept it to myself. I never said anything for a couple of years. And so I noticed things in my background as a social worker. I started to pick up on some of his actions and his emotions, and very flat affect. Why I didn't really show a whole lot of emotion. But at that time, I really, as a mom, it's hard to grasp or take that, your child might be different from other children. And I really kept it to myself. I didn't even share it with my husband for a long time. And kindergarten went okay, because kindergarten you're playing and you're just learning, and it went okay. And I remember the first week of grade 1, I was at work and I got a call from his teacher, and she said, Karma, I don't know, I've never seen this with Wyatt before, but he just walked into the classroom and he just had this high-pitched scream. And she said, I don't know, it was weird and I don't know what to do, and I couldn't calm him down. And it was then when I went, okay. And so...
What was it, when I was 6 I went?
You were 6, yeah. So then we started going through the process of an assessment, and we went through a private process in Winnipeg.
I was 6, right?
You were 6 and in grade 1, yeah. And I know many people, it's long wait lists to do it privately. As a family, we're very fortunate that we could do it privately. And my heart goes out to those families that can't do it privately, because you're waiting so long for answers.
I didn't even know I was going.
No, you didn't know what it was all about till much later.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Yeah. Do you remember when Mommy told
Yeah.
you? Do you remember what we did? And me and him had crawled to the top on your bunk bed, and I started reading this book to him, How I See Differently Through the Eyes of a Child with Autism.
I remember that.
And as I was reading, I never said anything, and we were just reading.
And I said, what's this book about?
And we got to maybe 4 or 5 pages in, and he looked at me and he said, that's what I have, Mom, right?
Oh, that's why I was going to those doctor appointments.
Exactly. That's what you said. Mom, is that why we've been going to see the doctor? Mm-hmm. And you know what? And that day it was just like it clicked. It was like, okay, we're going to do this as a family. We're going to work together. And so I think for my husband and I, in knowing and finding out how to parent, how to navigate down the road of helping other people understand that this is not a behavioral issue. His brain thinks differently than us. And it goes about different strategies on how to explain things, and different cues, different prompts. It takes more organizing as a family, much more organizing and patience.
I don't really like loud noises. Whenever there's loud noises around me, I usually talk louder than others. And everybody's like, Wyatt, stop yelling. And I'm like, what? I'm yelling? Some challenges would be, I would always argue with people. And I'm like, Wyatt, why are you arguing? And I'm like, because I think it's a big problem, but it's really not. Yeah, so to concentrate in the class, I need to listen to music. Because I like to sing and I like to play piano. And listening to music helps me concentrate, and it just cancels out all the noise.
We have an amazing community here, Morden and his friends and his school, but it's just these misconceptions, yeah.
Sometimes when I make a mistake, lots of people just, they make a big deal out of it, and I get so mad about that because it's just a little small mistake, but they go around and tell everybody about it. You don't need to tell everybody about that, because it's not a big deal, right?
You're always trying to shield them because you don't want other people thinking that Miss ill or, you know, something bad about your child when you know he has no control over it. And it's a reaction. And the minute the reaction happens, he's so remorseful, but then he has a hard time forgiving himself for that reaction. So it's that emotional, psychological, I say, fight that he's always in. Mind is just brilliant, and the amount of information he contains, the rest of us forget things very easily. He is like an encyclopedia up there.
I love math in school, and every time in school, math to me this year is like really easy for me. And every time we learn something, we already learned them like a couple years ago. I'm like, I already know how to do this. Can we move on to another thing? It's just too easy for me. But then but other people it's not, and I don't really notice that, right? Because when I first learned to solve a Rubik's Cube, I was like, here, can I teach you? But I'm like, how do you not get this? But I was the only one who got how to do it. So
you can solve a Rubik's Cube?
yeah, I think I watched videos for 2 hours, and then I just started getting into it, and then I went down to learning how to do it in an hour and a minute and 30 minutes I could solve it. And I was like, here, can I teach you? And they're like, Wyatt, I'm not going to get anything about that. I'm like, what? Come on, it's easy. It always struggle with me starting conversations. Because like most people are, you need to have eye contact to start a conversation, which you do. But I used to struggle with that, and then I would never really start a conversation. And I would struggle with starting conversations.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to work for NASA. Or start my own restaurant. Big difference. Most people think that it as a disability, but they should really think of it as just a different ability.